All right, hey guys. This is going to be the weekly update for Monday, February 25th. We're going to do these every single week, and this is how we're going to distribute important information to each of the contractors. We'll try to keep them under 10 minutes, but this is a way where you don't have to come to meetings. You don't actually have to come to work, but we're going to be doing these every single week. So, yeah, if you have any questions about any of these policies, go ahead and talk to your team lead. But I hope that you are watching this and getting each of these pieces of information. We have expanded the team and it's growing and it's exciting. Our company had like 2% of the weddings in Utah last year, and this year we're on track for a lot more. So it is growing. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about, just as a reminder, is contacting brides. Let me just kind of show you. So here are some examples so you can see. Hey, we haven't heard anything from the photographer about engagements. We're still waiting to coordinate with the photographer. I'm the one that books them in most cases for Utah, and so if they don't hear from you, then they start coming after me. Hey, my wedding's in 4 weeks. I haven't heard from anybody. Hey, we've been in contact. We have multiple things go wrong. We still haven't heard from the videographer. These are only in the last 2 weeks, so I'm trying to emphasize that we really, really need to do our phone calls. I haven't heard back. When can I expect to hear from my videographer? What's the best way for me to reach them? I've been trying to get a hold of someone for 3 weeks. I get these kind of messages all the time, and I don't think they're acceptable at all. And so we just need to make sure that every single person is contacting them within a week. And you don't have to do a phone call. If you're like out of town or you're busy, I understand that, but you need to text them. So the moment that the easiest way is just to have a pre-saved message in your phone. And the moment that you get assigned on HoneyBook, you just click the text, you copy paste it. It says, hey, I'm whoever, I'm your videographer. When's a good time to chat? That's the easiest way, because if you don't do that, they start coming after us. Now, we have implemented a new system where every single time or whoever books them, Trancy actually, right after she assigns it, she is going to send them your information. So they will start having your phone number. And so hopefully this makes it so that they don't feel like I've taken their money, I've gypped them. And so they will be reaching out to you and saying, hey, listen, what's going on? This says 2 weeks, but we expect 1 week. And I just want you to know that we have an expectation that you reach out to them within 1 week by text at least, so that they have a point of contact with you. But yeah, she's going to be sending them from here on out. But please, at this point, it's going to be a strikeable offense if you haven't contacted them within a week and it's just sitting there. And so it's just been too much. It makes our company look really bad, because I respond very quickly to them when I'm booking, and I'm very, very fast and considerate to them. And so suddenly when they get passed off to the videographer or photographer and nobody takes care of them, it kind of makes them upset. So that is something that's going to be happening now. Sometimes we will have like a bride who you have reached out to them, or you've texted them and you've tried to call them, but it hasn't actually, they didn't pick up or whatever. So here's what we're going to do in those situations. What I highly, highly recommend, so you avoid a strike, is let's say I'm calling Angela, when you're on the phone with them or you're texting them or whatever, let's say you're talking to them and she's like, yeah, my sister's name is Bethany and she's going to be the one that's waiting outside the temple. As you're talking, you're going to be like, your sister's name is Bethany. Her number is da-da-da-da. She is my point of contact for temple. Like, as you're talking to the bride, you take notes just right here in HoneyBook, and then when you click send, it's going to send that to Angela. It's going to send to the photographer. In this case, it's Tia, whoever, right? So it's basically, it's a confirmation that they have that you talk to them on the phone. And here's why that's important. Sometimes they'll come after me or Trancy or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, I'm really angry. I haven't heard from Daniel or Tim or whoever. Well, maybe you actually have contacted them. They forgot. This is a really easy way where we don't even have to ask you. We can hop on HoneyBook and find out, oh, yep, it's true. You did contact them. You sent them the information, and you sent them that. Now, it's also nice because if you learn crucial information on a phone call, this keeps Tia from having to call and do this exact, learn the exact same information. It makes you look more professional because you're calling and you're like, yeah, so I see here your sister's name is Bethany. Like, for example, if the photographer does a first phone call, the videographer can know everything you talked about and not have to like backtrack. So I recommend everybody starts doing that immediately. And then you just send it at the end. And there you go. Now, let's say you text them and they don't answer. I would just be like, hey, I tried to call you today. We didn't make contact, whatever. Either way, the point is you send an email, and so that everyone knows that you have tried to contact them. And that's going to be the easiest way to do this. If not, the excuse, oh, well, I've already tried to contact them, I just didn't put it in HoneyBook or whatever, is not going to fly if they come after me and they're angry. We actually had a situation where they wanted a full refund because nobody reached out to them within 2 weeks. So we can't have that happening. And so that's why, in order to protect the company, it's now going to be a strikeable offense if you don't reach out within a week in some form. So, okay, texting tree. So this is a new thing, and it's kind of been happening for a while, but essentially your team lead or regional manager, whoever's in charge of you, is going to be your point of contact. So anytime we have information like this or crucial information, I will text it to them. They will text it out to each of the people that they're over, and that's how you're going to get it. So don't mute that conversation or anything. Okay, that's going to be really important. That's where you're going to get all this information. And if information is sent out in that way, it is going to be official, and we're going to expect that everyone listens to it and knows what it is within a couple days after. So this information, for example, like we'll expect you to start doing these things within a few days. Because once again, meeting remote, like doing this remotely, is how we're going to keep from having to do big, long, crazy in-person meetings all the time. So hopefully it's more convenient for you. So just watch out for those. Okay, so on HoneyBook, one thing that we have done is we have created separate companies. So it's all technically Tolman Media, but as you can see here, this is going to be Utah, and then we've got Idaho, Virginia, and travel. So some of you have probably been a little bit alarmed. What's happening is if you are in Idaho or Virginia, or you're purely like a travel couple, we're actually going to create a separate HoneyBook for you so it's not all confusing. So let's say you do weddings both in Utah and travel. You're going to up here, it'll show you switch company, and you're going to be able to just basically keep everything in order. And here's why that's happening is because there's been a lot of confusion. Like, wait, I have an Idaho wedding, I have this. We're going to get to the point where only Idaho weddings will only book in the Idaho one, and travel weddings will only book in the travel one. And so when you get invited as a contractor to set up a separate account in this one, please do it. You'll have to have two separate accounts. It might make you have two separate emails, but we'll get there. But yeah, this is going to be a way where you can essentially get all of your ducks in a row, and we can organize. So we've got just Utah, and and travel is going to be basically anything outside of Utah County or one of these areas. So St. George would technically be considered travel. Yes, and we'll get to travel in just a minute, but just watch for that. If you get notification, please go ahead and accept it. We are Transy is transferring all the data over onto these different companies. So if you saw some of your stuff disappear, she's getting it reset up on a separate company, just so you know. So that's kind of what's happening there. Okay, travel weddings. So this is exciting. We have a ton of different travel wedding inquiries. Like we had one today for Oakland, California. We had another one for today for Newport Beach. We have a lot of California and stuff. So here's how it's going to work. I will never reach out to them unless I know I have a contractor available. So here's what we'll do. If I get a travel wedding inquiry, I'm going to have a text chain of people who I know are willing to travel. And I will send out a text saying, here's the details of the wedding. Who wants it? Whoever will personally text me first saying that they want it is the one that's going to get it. Now, you probably won't be making like more money per se than if you did a Utah wedding, but it's an opportunity to travel. And so if that's what you're into, and if that's one of your priorities, then that's awesome. Usually on our newer packages, I think each contractor, videographer and photographer, would make $750, and then you have to find your own flights. So, and your travel arrangements, right? So if you've got family there, but remember, you would split that with the photographer, videographer. Now, Sophia is a female videographer. We have Tiffany, who's a female videographer. If you're interested in traveling, you can go with one of our female photographers. We have male photographers with male. Videographers, I understand it's weird. You don't want to share a hotel room with if you're married and somebody of the opposite sex. I get that. So we're going to try to make that work. If you're fine paying for your own hotel room, like if you're married and you're traveling with somebody from the opposite sex and you want your own hotel room and they want their own hotel room, that's fine. Just let me know. So send me a personal text if you're interested. But at the end of the day, my guess is between round trip flights, which I would go to Google Flights, by the way. This is what I do. Google Flights. So today, let's say we had, whatever. Hold on. So Google Flights. Okay. You just say, so like for example, if I send you that one and I said, hey, so there's a Boston wedding or whatever, you would do one passenger Boston, you would pick the dates. You have to get there the day before. So if the wedding on the 27th, you'd have to get there the 26th, and then I don't care when you come home. You can come home on the 30th, whatever you want to do. If you want to stay there and play, but then boom, the 26th to the 28th at least, you'd hit done, and then it will give you a bunch of different quotes. That's really not that bad for Boston. Okay, so that way you could calculate it. You could say, okay, cool. So I've got basically $500 left, and then you get a hotel for 2 nights. Boom, and then you'll probably be making about the same as you would in Utah. The downside is you got to spend 2 extra days there. But hey, if you really want to travel, it's a fun opportunity. I've seen some amazing stuff and had a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, let me know. The reason why we give you the money and just say to do your own thing is because if you want to, if you have a Newport Beach wedding on a Thursday and you want to go to Disneyland Friday, Saturday, you can, know exactly how much you have and you can do a break-even trip and go to Disneyland, and you're welcome to do that. So anyways, please send me a personal text if that's something you're interested in, and I will start texting those out. All right, we do have a revised contractor handbook coming out soon. It's going to answer a lot of the questions we've gotten. The first one was kind of a version 1. This is going to be more, it's going to be more catered to your needs, and so hopefully that will help, and it'll have all sorts of information as well as policies and procedures and stuff. But that is it for this week's update. Thanks, guys. We're going to be doing this every Monday and sending out information just like this. Hopefully it's a good way to do it, but please watch them every single week. And if you have any questions, please talk to your team lead. We are in a transitionary phase, so please be patient. We've got some new big things coming on, but the company is growing and it's doing great. So we will probably do a get together or a party in March where you guys can come check out the new office and everything. But yeah, things are going really good. Like I said, any concerns with any concerns like personnel, contractors, whatever, come to Jellica. Any other concerns with scheduling, go to Transy. And then if you have no idea where to go, then the first person to go to is your team lead, and they'll help you out. So thank you so much and have an awesome Monday.